Hello everyone, welcome to another Transformers haul vid. I've been out the last couple of weekends to the boot fairs as per normal. Didn't have a great deal of success, although I did get a couple of bits last week. I didn't think it was worth making a haul vid just for two items. So these first two bits I picked up, like I say, last week, so I'll show you them first. Now, neither of them are absolutely complete, perfectly complete, but they're not bad in as much as what is there is good enough to display, so to speak. Just a couple of odd little accessory bits missing. Now the first one is a Beast Wars figure, and it is Beast Wars Megatron. Now I believe he's missing a launcher out of his mouth and some missiles for that, and he's also missing, if you can see on his back, there's a connector there which would be a panel in dinosaur mode. It's in the sort of about the chest area. There's a panel missing there, so it's the sort of bits I'll have to look, see if I can pick up in future. But other than that, he's pretty good, pretty complete. Quite a nice figure as well. It's a good bit of Beast Wars original fun there. The next item I got is an alternators, and it's one I've seen before, but he's always been battered or missing parts. And again, he's missing, I believe it's a small back panel in vehicle mode with sort of like, I think it's either the actual weapon itself or a storage place for the weapon, but the actual robot mode's complete enough, so it was worth picking up. And I actually managed to pick up Alternator's Swindle, which is a great little figure. I can see how they repainted this guy into Hound by just turning him green, but yeah, really like that. Really nice figure, and really good vehicle mode as well, which all the Alternators line pretty good in that way. But yeah, really pleased to pick him up. They only cost, I think that was about £1 each, something like that, so great bargains anyway. Now where we get to this weekend, what's just gone, which is, I'm trying to think what's the date today, which would have been the 10th and 11th of August, I believe, if I'm looking at my calendar correctly. I had quite a good haul, only from a couple of sellers. Went to 3 boot fairs over the weekend. There was a couple what should have been on, but they've been cancelled due to other events what are going on in the area, so it was a little bit of a shame, because there should have been 2 other nice size ones, which is a bit of a shame. But like I say, had a bit of reasonable success. Now it's difficult to know where to start, which gives you an indication I did get a few bits. I'll start with the parts. One thing, well, that's one thing, but 2 things that I picked up in amongst a, sort of like a small collection that I picked up from one seller. I actually managed to find the key, and ironically the weapon, which goes with, I think it was Scattershot, the Cybertron line toy I got in my last haul. That's really weird, because to find the correct planet key and his hand weapon from a different seller on a different day is bizarre, but no sign of the actual figure, so either somebody beat me to that particular figure, or that figure just didn't survive these kids playing with it. I also have got a couple of missiles. Now, I'm not sure which figures they're from. I've got to figure out that by looking it up on Transformer sites and that for the collection, but a couple of missiles. And also I have a couple of parts. Now there was one part which I knew immediately, because it's more my age, so to speak. I found one of the orange missiles for the Micromaster headquarters, which is like the truck I've done a review on. So a great little find, always handy to have a spare one of those anyway. Another part which is a Cybertron key flip open part. Now part of this seems very familiar to me, and yet I can't place it offhand, so if anyone recognises that bit, the key goes in the back there and that part flips over. Actually I'm demonstrating that with that key, like so. Like I say, seems familiar to me, but where from, not sure. Anyway, another part I found, which you might have got a glimpse of while I was doing that, I actually found the back panel for the Supreme Leader Class animated Optimus Prime, which was a bit what was missing off mine, so it's great to find that, even though it's only a silly part. Not the greatest figure, but it's still great to have a little bit just to finish it off. Now getting to, again, what's next? Go for the more basic sort of things first. Now I've got, it's a similar sort of line, I'd assume, to the PVC figure that Ed Bumblejumper sent me of the G1 Megs, but this is movie skids, and it's not transformable, it is literally just an action figure. But it's not bad, it's quite nicely detailed, it's about a sort of deluxe size, so good little display piece all the same. Again, this was in amongst the collection of bots I got, so cost me next to nothing in the sort of big scheme of things. As I do this, if I'm leaning down here, I'm just putting them down out of the way so I know what I've actually shown you. Next out of that, another random item, and I wish there'd been the two, because my other half was saying that she'd love to sort of like just muck around playing around with them. One of the walkie-talkies from the movie line, so I've got Megatron's head. It does actually still work, so somewhere out there is a kid with the other half of that. But I do see these now and again, so I will try and pick up the other one, and just worth a laugh anyway. I use walkie-talkies at work every day, so it's quite ironic. The next figure, let's see, is again another, I think it's like one of these fast action battlers, something like that. It's a more basic figure, but it is ironically Mudflap, so Skid's brother. It's got like a little hooky weapon part which comes out of his fist, and you pull one bit back to bring the hook back. Again, it's a bit of fun, very basic figure, but it's worth a laugh just to pick it up. And again, it wasn't really what I was buying, it was a whole box of bots. It's not what I brought the box for. And in the same line again, there is a movie Starscream as well, which seems complete. Again, not the greatest of toy. I had seen this toy before and sort of passed it up because it's so basic, but because it was in there, and effectively in there just as a freebie almost, I've picked it up. Now, getting to the more interesting bits. Well, in amongst it, I found a near complete, because he hasn't got his key, but I found a Repugnus. Now, the one I picked up before didn't have his tail mace weapon, so pleased to pick that up. I will obviously keep whichever one out of the two is better. Probably just get rid of the other one, but nice little figure. It'd be nice to get the key for him, because that's the only bit now what's missing. But yeah, cool to pick up that. When I saw the figure in there, I thought, oh, usual thing, tail will be missing. Now I rooted around, saw the tail was in there, and again, that was worth picking up. So I've got that. Now a figure which I do again have, but this one's missing parts, so I'm going to make up a figure out of the two. I think it was something like Air Raid from the movie line, something like that, somebody told me. But he's missing like the nose cone and the jet, which I've got on the other figure. But again, was complete with his missing wing parts on the other figure, and of course all of his weapon, which is great again. So that will, between the two, have completed another figure. Another one which I've seen before, but it's always been damaged, and I rooted around and I think I found the correct key for him. I'm assuming he's a Decepticon. Can't remember his name off hand, but I had to put him together as his legs were missing, but I did see him in the box. Now I'm thinking it's obviously a movie line toy. I could say his name offhand, I don't know, but he's like a hovercraft. And I got a Decepticon key, which obviously all the keys fit one another of the bots anyway, but I'm guessing he's Decepticon, though for the life of me I can't find a single logo anywhere on him, so I'll have to assume that one. Again, great little bot, nice and complete. Even found what I assume is his handgun, because it fits in the correct slots there. So great little find. Again, had to put him together, and believe me, there was quite a few bits of him to hunt around through. Movie Soundwave. The only thing missing is his missile, which is par for the course when you're picking bots up from boot fairs. It's not one of those ones, because I know it's the Ravage missile, so I know it's got more of a grooved sort of coating, grooved finish to it, a bit like when he's a missile being fired down like a meteorite. So not a bad find again. Like I say, I had to put him together, which is a bit of a pain, but it's got all of his back panels, the solar panels of the satellite, so great find again. And moving on to another figure, I picked up inside this box again. He's he's missing one weapon, but movie commander class. I think this is Jetwing Prime of the Cyberverse line. So again, it's only one weapon missing, not really the end of the world, but he was all in bits as well, so I've had to put him back together. The kids who had these were pretty rough with them, let's put it this way. The actual bots themselves have come off reasonably well, but they're not too damaged in the fact of the actual parts, but they were in a lot of bits, and took me over an hour, I think it was, to actually put these guys back together. But yeah, movie Jetwing Prime. I also found, and surprisingly enough, it was actually intact, which was one of the more unusual things because Cyberverse are prone to it. Cyberverse Sideswipe, which I don't have, so I was chuffed to pick that up. Great little find in there as well. In amongst there, I found a Robot Heroes that I don't have, so again, nice little find. I found, now I think in Mixmaster from the movie line, so great little find. Always nice to pick them up randomly. Get into the next sort of parts up. Well, actually, there was a little thing, I think it's like a Marvel hero, something like that, but it's a little dark Spider-Man. That's just a random thing that I found in amongst there. And possibly a G.I. Joe figure. Not sure it's made the same as the G.I. Joes. If anyone knows that one, that'd be a help. But just a random figure in the bottom. And an old figure, what was in the bottom. I've got it in its transformed mode. It's not a transformer, but it's close. I found a Rock Lord, which is all there, all sort of quite hefty considering its size. I never really had these as a kid. Not the greatest things in the world. You can transform into a rockery. Pretty boring. That's it really. You know, that's not the greatest thing, is it? But a bit of a laugh, and I'll hang on to it just for the fact it's getting on for the same sort of age range as G1 figures. Fair enough. Now to the more interesting bits. From the same seller, missing accessories and one little part, which isn't detrimental in his transform mode. I actually found more of a deluxe-y Voyager size Optimus Prime, so from the animated line. So again, not bad. Not the greatest figures in the world, but quite basic and quite fun. So it's one I haven't got, and he's only missing a little part from the back there, what forms part of his bumper. If you see, that's the part there on the other side. But yeah, okay in itself. Don't mind picking it up again. This was in the box with the rest. Now if I now divide this up into the sellers, because there was some I got from another seller, so I'll keep them separate. Now in the same box as I've just shown you, and it's one I've wanted to pick up. I think he's missing maybe one weapon, because I think he's supposed to have two, but it's possible it's only the one. I got the grey version of Ironhide from the movie line, Is complete as far as I can tell. Like I say, there's pegs on that arm, so whether there was supposed to be 2 weapons or whether he just came with the one, I'm not sure on that, but it's like a spinning mech tech sort of gadget. Not a bad figure, quite nice, and he's in his, what's it, nest, special sort of forces grey finish. So I've got the black one, I believe, so it's quite nice to have the 2, and not a bad figure anyway. Sort of big deluxe voyagery sort of size, so that was good. Had to put him together as well. He was in probably about 8 pieces, so it was quite nice to find them all. Getting to the next one now, he is missing one part and possibly a missile. Again, it's not one of those missiles, I've tried it and I'm having lots of fun trying to transform it, so it's not quite there yet. But I found the Voyager size, I'm assuming, Mixmaster from the movie, from, what would that be, Revenge of the Fallen. A good transformer, but he's missing one side of the roof, so it's on the right side of the cab, which is a little bit of a pain. I thought both panels were there actually when I started looking, unless I've dropped it somewhere, say in my van or something like that. I'll have to have a look. But other than that, pretty complete, and that's not really going to affect it in robot mode. I know he does the sort of 4-legged sort of gun mode as well, which is that big gun underneath there. So pretty good, and like I say, the rest of it's actually in pretty good condition. Like I say, it's just a one panel that's randomly snapped off, which is quite prone to, even when I was trying to put it back together myself, it kept popping off. But all in all, a nice box, and again not bad, all in the same box. Now what's next? Now from that box, next one up, and getting near the end of that actual box, was a bumblebee. Now normally I'd steer clear of bumblebees because I'm fed up of finding them, but this one was actually quite nice because it is the Human Alliance bumblebee, so it's a bit bigger and it's a bit different, so again that makes it a little bit nicer. It didn't come with the Sam Witwicky figure, that wasn't in the box, but I think I've got one of those from the other Human Alliance figures that I was sent. I believe that was from Brian. Is it Mega Snow Lizard? I might be making a mistake there and saying the wrong person. If I am, I apologise. But I know I was sent the Sideswipe Human Alliance figure, and that's got the Sam Witwicky figure with it. Am I thinking the wrong person? I possibly am. I do apologise. My memory at the minute isn't quite up to speed, being Monday morning. But yeah, it's a really nice bumblebee. For what you can say, bumblebee is nice. Car mode does appear all to be there. I haven't fully transformed it yet, but all the panels seem to be there, and it's not bad. It's even got the visor that comes down, if I can get it to do it, on the head. So it's got his sort of battle mode face as well. So again, pretty good, and all in the same box, just missing a missile at the front and the figure, and possibly a smaller weapon. I think they did come with a smaller gun as well, but all in all, pretty good. And the last one, what was in that box, and size wise, and if I, probably did see that just in shot then, but if I just do, you probably figured who it is. Movie Leader Class Prime from Revenge of the Fallen, I'm guessing, because he's got the blades on his arms. Really nice figure. One small little bit of damage, but it doesn't affect it in either mode. Had a great deal of fun transforming this without the instructions as well. It's not the easiest. Possibly missing a hand weapon, maybe a handgun. That's probably just about it. And the odd little tiny stress mark, like I say, this has been played with, so you kind of expect that. But yeah, really good. Like I say, the batteries obviously still work, so, which is better than the sound the original Leader Class made, which is nonsense. It does make a truck noise as well when it's in vehicle mode, and a transformation noise as you go through the transformation as well. Really pleased to pick that up. It is a better Leader Class than the first one. The robot mode in itself is nicer and more accurate to the movie, so that one's probably going to stay out on display because I actually do like that. Now like I say, that was from one box, one seller. Now all of that sent me back £8, so a pittance really. Bit of a joke really when people sort of like to sell off a whole collection of toys like that for that sort of money. Bearing in mind Leader Class Prime would come out at about £45, something like that. So real bargain. After I'd taken the box back to my van and sort of stuck it in there out of the way, I carried on from where I'd left off going around the boot fair, and I came across a seller just selling off a random tub, mixture of toys, nothing that fantastic in there, a real sort of odds and ends sort of box. But I saw poking out a familiar face of Beast Wars Rhinox. Now, at first I thought, you know, usual thing, missing a few bits, but not. Actually complete with every single part. It's got the tail weapon, inside still in position. He's got both mace parts and the spinning blade sort of weapon, and the mechanism all still in the chest cavity in there. So absolutely complete. And when I had a bit more of a route round, I found his instructions as well. So other than the backing card or box, whichever he came in, I've got Rhinox now absolutely complete, so that was rather nice. Now, as I was also rooting around in there, and I had to put him together because, as ever, in sort of bits, missing one part, and this is where maybe somebody out there can help me. I found Cyber Shark, again from Beast Wars line, missing his right fin. Now I did have to hunt around because both of them were actually missing, and I did find the left one, and I went through the box several times just to make sure I weren't missing it in amongst something else, but to no avail. So unfortunately he was missing one side. So if anyone's got a spare one or knows where there is a spare one for sale, that's what I'm sort of looking for him. Other than that, he is complete. He's even got, tucked away in the top part, his missiles still stored, and of course his head missile part was off, so I actually sort of found that in the box, and the same with the tail part. So complete, again with instructions. So I found that by rooting around and reassembling. I was probably about 5 minutes in this box, so I wonder what people think sometimes when you're down there so long in front of their sort of table looking through stuff. But my other half was standing there patiently waiting while I did it as well. So chuffed to find that, as it's a figure I don't have, and not a lot to actually finish that off. I might, if I get that part, do a review on that, because that's quite an amusing figure as well. But while I was rooting around in that box, I also found some nice little gems. To start with, I found missing a couple of tyres, but that's not an issue. I found a G1 hubcap, but other than that, pretty complete. Even got his Autobot logo still just about hanging on the back there. The chrome's a bit worn, and his head's a bit floppy, so again that needs sorting out, but still got a rub sign. So fantastic find, and it is a genuine one because it's got the Dunlop on the tyres, so great find. I also found a bit tatty, and his mechanism unfortunately doesn't work, but I thought I'd keep him, if I ever re-stickered him, I'd keep it as a almost like a second one to have just sort of on display in vehicle mode. I found a G1 Ruckus Decepticon Triggercon, which I have done a review of, so my original one. So again, he's, you know, a little bit damaged I think there. I think that's part of a clip mechanism on the back there, but for vehicle mode that's not bad at all. And like I say, his trigger mechanism doesn't work anymore, so that's a bit of a shame, but all in all still not a bad find. And while I was rooting around finding the parts and that, I actually found, minus his spark mechanism, that unfortunately doesn't work, but I found one of the Triggerbot, no, not Triggerbots, what am I saying, that's with the Ruckus and that, not a Firecon, Sparkbot, that's what I'm thinking of, from the G1 line. Great stickers on it though, so even though the spark mechanism doesn't work, really nice find. Very stiff joints, but all in all, really nice to find that, and in really tidy condition as well. So pleased to pick that up. And all 5 of those cost me a grand total of £2. So I wasn't going to even try and knock her down. I was quite pleased to find them. So when she said £2, that was great. Now when I went to the last of the boot fairs, I was looking around and I did actually see a brand new sealed Creo Bumblebee, like the larger one, which came with a little Creo figure of Bumblebee and Red Alert, and I was tempted to get it, but the guy wanted £10, which I thought was a bit steep for a boot fair, so I sort of passed up on that. I'm in a knowing whether or not I did the right thing there, because the little Creo figures are nice, but this is the kind of thing I'm expecting I'll probably come across another one of them, being that Bumblebee's quite a popular figure and quite a well sold figure as well. But in amongst other stuff he had, I found a Armada, I think it is, Optimus Prime, which the basic figure is all there. I had to put him together again, his arm wasn't there, which again is a usual thing you have to do when you're around boot fairs. But it's so nice to actually find one, because normally they've always got that front grille missing. So it's a figure I haven't actually got, so nice little pickup, and quite a nice little figure actually when he's transformed. I think I've got the mini-con for him somewhere as well, so that will tidy up quite nicely. And with him, and for the combined total of £1.50, I also picked up another Robot Heroes. I actually found Predaking, which is one I don't have, and pleased and punched to pick up, because that's actually one of the nicer ones I think from the Robot Heroes lines, so really pleased with that. And that is about it. Quite a good haul. Sometimes you do get lucky and find a lot, other times not so. Saw some junkers while I was going around, usual things like Movie Roadbuster, trying to think now, there was that one, there was some of the other movie toys really in bits, and I mean the bits weren't there, missing arms and legs and all sorts. Also in this box I would point out, I also, as I went through the bottom, I did end up with a bag full of parts, so unfortunately there are a few bots out there missing limbs, bits and bobs. Some of these parts will end up actually going towards some of the bots I've already got, because there are actually some missiles and odds and ends in there which I do need, or I can use on figures while I'm complete. A good example of that is again one of the movie line figures. If I remember correctly, on this guy I've already got the main figure, but I think I'm missing the windscreen part, so again that will do mine, and I think he was missing his guns, so there's one of the guns there as well, so that helps complete him, but he's missing a leg, so not much bottle. As you may have told from the colours showing through, twins again, the old ice cream truck, but one of the twins is missing his legs, so there's not much point hanging on to that or offering it as a trade. It'll just come in a spare parts box and maybe end up repairing another bot at some point, and then it'll be suitable either to trade with somebody or give to somebody. But yeah, there's quite a few, especially Cyberverse size odds and ends. There's a few figure parts I recognise from other figures, but again nothing worth really mentioning on a video as a haul vid, but always handy to keep as spare parts anyway. But that's about it. Pleased to punch with what I found, when you consider I've spent about £11.50 for everything I've shown you, barring the first two, which were what, £2 I think it was for the two. That's not bad. So again, really chuffed to find some bargains out there, and that's about it. Hope everyone who's been to AA this weekend, as it works out I actually was working this weekend, so it would have been a bit awkward if I'd have already booked to go to it, so it's just as well I didn't go this year. hoping to next year. And when I say hoping to, I've already said to the other half I want to, which kind of is I shall be going unless something drastic happens. So hopefully I shall see you there next year, and hopefully I shall be able to get some reviews out this week because I'm on late, so I've got the morning free. So I hope to see you for the next video. Not sure what it's going to be yet, but yes, that's it for now. I shall see you again. If this is the first video you've seen, please feel free to subscribe and feel free to rate, and feel free to comment. Always interested in hearing what anyone's got to say. One of the guys I would actually give a little shout out to is Rob Peter. We've had quite a lengthy couple of chats on a couple of vids by sort of commenting backwards and forwards. Really nice guy. Started doing reviews as well as just commenting, much the same way as I started. He's worth a look if you're wanting to check out other YouTubers as well. And yeah, I think that's all for now. So I shall see you again, and thanks for watching.